Yes, it's another power bank review. Don't switch off just yet, because I think this one's a little bit different and it may be the most powerful one we've actually been sent yet. This is the Ecoflow Delta Multi, and it's the first power bank that can actually make our coffee. Eat. Must be like a case. Cover, isn't it? Okay. Oh. It comes with this rather nice fabric cover to it. I suppose it stops it getting scratched, wherever you put it. That's really good. Put a zip on it, get it out of its coat. Right, first impressions. There's like a rubber ring around here. I don't think that's a charging plate, that's just the top of it. Feels fairly solid. Vents at the top. 4 plugs there, quite amazing. Let's get it charged up. Yeah, there's a bit of information in the quick start guide. So turn on the DC power. Press and hold to your DC power. Turn on the AC power. Alright, and please charge before using, so we'll do that. Well, it says it's going to take an hour to charge, though. It's 31%, 650 watts charging. Well, whilst that's charging, I'll have a little look at the user guide. It's quite comprehensive. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, oh, it's finally finished charging. Yeah, the big thing about this power bank is it can power the coffee maker. So we've stopped. Bobby, please. We've stopped at Norton Keynes, get out of the weather, have some sandwiches. I can actually have a proper cup of coffee now, rather than that horrible instant stuff. Yep. Right, Poppy. I'll tell him about the Ecoflow Delta. Been here 9 days now, haven't we? Yes, we have. Amazing, isn't it? And what we've got here is 11% left on here. I think. Oh, I'll switch it on. Switch it on. Yep. There we go. Yes, I've been using this, and I've been charging. What I've been charging? I've been charging my phone, the GoPro remote, all the microphones which are in this box here, and the Sony. Sorry, Pops, am I ignoring you? Probably wants to be in the video as well. But yeah, I've been charging that, and I haven't charged it at all. I haven't charged the unit at all for 9 days, not since we left. It's not obviously not using an awful lot there. It's using 2 watts, but it has meant that we can charge everything that we need to charge for 9 days. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And they're all sitting on top of the unit there. So there we go. One great thing about using this is it uses a conventional 3-pin mains plug, the sort of thing you might see on a kettle. So you just plug that in. And there's the other charging point, that's for the solar, and that's the reset button. You just plug this into the main socket. So there we are. It does make a bit of noise when it's charging, as I showed you earlier, but it's not too bad. Turn it round. There we go. Recharging time at the moment says 8 hours, because it is fairly flat, but I am charging cameras and things at the same time, so probably be quicker if I switch the DC off. That's hardly going to make any difference, is it? Leave those charging. Yes, charging at 114 watts, and charging the cameras and things for 2 to 5 watts. Oh, there we go, it's actually got into its stride now. It's gone down from saying it can take 8 hours to charge to 1 hour, and that's on 5 minutes or so. Charging with 600 watts. So specifications. Eyes down and concentrate. Here comes the technical bit, and it's taken from the online manual because that's the only one I could read. Size and weight of this is 14 kilograms. Dimensions are 15.7 by 8.3 by 10.6 inches, or in new money 13.9 by 21.1 by 26.9 centimeters, and it's 1260 watt hours, 50.4 volts, and it's CE, WEE, CTP, KC and RCM certified, whatever that means. Inside there's an MCM battery, apparently it's a nickel cobalt manganese battery, and they tell me in the manual it's good for over 800 cycles, charging it to 80% each time. It's got protection for overvolt, overload, over temperature, short circuit, low temperature, low voltage and over current, and there will be warning lights that come up on the display in that sort of area up there. Its optimal operating temperature is between 20 and 30 degrees centigrade, so it likes being kept warm, a bit like us, so don't leave it out in the cold. So the controls, there's a big button there, press and hold it and it switches off, press and hold it till it beeps and it switches on. On either side you've got buttons for switching the, in this case the DC sockets on, or on the back the AC sockets on, so there's that little silver switch there. The display is really useful because it shows the remaining time that you've got left in the battery considering the current state of charge, so it will give you an idea how long it's going to last using that amount of power. There are warning lights that come up for the various protection devices that come up around there. Obviously I can't show you those, but they will come up. And there are output lights. If you can see, it tells you when the DC is on or off. The LCD screen goes off after about 5 minutes, and if there's nothing connected to this it will actually go off after about 30 minutes if there's no load on it. So to charge it you can use a mains lead, you can use solar, but using a mains lead it charges apparently in up to 80% in under 1 hour. But realistically I found that you need to allow about 2 hours to get it fully charged if it's gone completely flat. You can use solar panels in series. The manual shows you connecting solar panels in series. You can use solar panels in parallel. You can use a car charger, and the manual actually says that will take 13.5 hours. So I know which I would prefer to charge it with. The manual says it can be used as an EPS, an emergency power supply. I mean, for home use, it would power a monitor, but certainly wouldn't use it to protect servers or computers like that, because it's not a fast switching power supply. So there would be, but non-critical devices, you could use it as an emergency power supply, perhaps for monitors, like I say. It's 1200 watt hours in that case. I know you're all dying to hear this. It's £1,299. Now, I've had similar power banks, and for instance the Jackery 1000 is about £1,099, and what it seems to be is the pricing seems to be about £1 per 1 watt hour. So if you think of this as a 1200 watt hour device, a little bit more than that, £12.99 is about right for the price. There are links in the description below, in the video description, if you choose to buy this, and that will obviously help my channel if you do that. The website shows a guide on the typical use of this device. There are several different types of uses, but typically you're going to want to use it off-grid if you've got no electric hookup. This day and age, this is brilliant for a home backup device. This can power those things, you know, your toaster at home or your coffee maker at home even, if there's power cuts. So something you might want to consider this as a dual use. You don't just use it in your motorhome, you might use it at home as well. We've used it for all sorts of things. We used it for making the coffee, as we've already demonstrated, when we're off-grid. You can use it for the hairdryer, you can use it to charge laptops. It works really well charging my laptop via the USB-C. You can use it to charge phones. In my case, I use it to charge microphones, batteries, cameras, all sorts of paraphernalia that I take with me, and a lot of people take with us these days. It will also work as a backup for your motorhome, leisure and vehicle battery charging, and I'll demonstrate that. On the back of the unit you've got 4 main sockets, and you switch the AC main sockets on by pressing and holding that. So 4 sockets, maximum between them of 1800 watts or 450 if you're using all of them together. The unit is protected up to 3300 watts for a surge-in power, but these are 1800 watts. So enough power to power a toaster or a hairdryer, but not all at the same time. So turning it round on the DC side, so switch the DC on, press that button, and what you've got is 2 standard USB-A sockets there, 12 watt max per socket. So they're good for things, standard things that you might want to charge with USBs. Cameras possibly. And these are fast charge USB-A sockets, and they are 18 watts per socket, so you could use those for charging your mobile phone if it's got a fast charge facility. Moving down here we've got USB-C sockets. Now these are 60 watt per port apparently. They're not labelled as power delivery sockets, PD sockets, but you can, and I have found, I can charge my laptop using either of those 2 sockets. So 60 watts each of those. So turning it round to look at the input side of it, most important thing on here is this input. It's an Extreme, it's called, fast charge, 1200 watt 10 amp charging via a mains lead, via a conventional mains lead. You've got a solar input here which is takes between 10 and 65 volts, 10 amps maximum, or 400 watts in total. Fortunately I'm not getting much solar power at this time of year, but that's what you would use. The other side is a overload protection button, you press that if it goes into overload. This socket here could also be used with the supplied car charging socket. So you would plug that into there and use this to charge from a cigarette type lighter or car charging socket. Apparently it would take about 8 hours to charge using that, so probably not best recommended, but good for emergency use. And also provided are the solar charging leads. So if you've got a solar panel, you can connect it to these and that will connect into that. And that's the lead for charging it from the mains. So this is the unit connected up and charging the motorhome batteries at the moment. So it's 240 watts. It says it will last for 4 hours just doing that. I've got the heating off at the moment, so if I put the heating on 1 bar, and that puts it up to 1248. So that's close to its sort of limit there. So it's pretty cold in the motorhome. So in theory, you could charge the batteries and heat the motorhome at the same time. We've never been able to do that with any of the other power banks. But realistically, you're not going to want to use the heating at the same time as you're charging the batteries. So if I look on my mains input, it's taking 2.7 amps there, which is basically keeping the batteries charged. They're not on full charge at the moment, they're just on float charge. If I switch over to vehicle battery, at 2.1 amps. So it's perfectly capable of charging up the vehicle batteries using the mains inverter on the unit. And that would last for 6-7 hours, just keeping the batteries charged. Come back. There we are. Oh, again, a little bit of solar power, but that's charging. Solar power's charging that, and that's charging the vehicle battery. Switch it over, and we're doing it the other way round. Charge the leisure battery using that. It says 3.6 amps, so it's gone up a little bit. Yeah, 5 hours. If you've got a flat motorhome battery, that may actually be a lifesaver. It will, of course, power the microwave, although I've had to run a little socket extension into there because I can't get the lead to the microwave to work. So let's put it on. Quick start. Just heat up this glass of water in there for a minute. That's using 1370 watts, and that's full power on the microwave. So that would last for 39 minutes at that power rate. So I suppose you could heat up a meal. It might take a couple of minutes or something like that. Yeah, 1 hot cup of water. Might be useful for something else. What would I say about the build quality? Well, I mean, it's a fairly hard plastic, but I know I've got a couple of knocks and scrapes on it already, so I think it will scratch up. But it feels fairly solid, and it's a weighty piece of kit. So what do I like or dislike about this this unit? I'll start with the dislikes really. This is a nice flat surface for leaving things on, but it's a big pity they didn't make it a wireless charging point, so you could just plonk your phone on there and charge it. I think that's an opportunity missed. Dislike seeing tiny print manuals. It's pointless really. I mean, best probably if they hadn't bothered and just said get it online. I can hardly read this, even with my better eyes these days. There's no carry case for all these leads. It came with a box and a protective cover for the unit, but nowhere to carry these. It would be useful if they'd just provided a pouch to carry those, but I suppose the protective case is a good idea, and if I did use that, I'd probably protect it from getting scratched, I guess. The other thing is, of course, the price. It seems like a lot of money for a backup battery power supply, but like I say, it's about £1 per watt hour. You've got to ask how much would it be to install extra solar panels or perhaps extra leisure batteries that could allow you to go off grid. If you don't spend a lot of time off grid, this is probably a wise investment. If you just do the occasional time off grid, then this is great. If you need a home emergency backup, this is great for that. I like the high power capacity. This is the only one that we've had so far that can actually make the coffee. So, you know, practical use when you're off grid for electrical products that you might want to take with you. This has been good, so I like that. I like the easy to carry handles. There's no great big handle over the top or flip up handles like some of the others have. It is quite a weighty thing to carry, but those give you a feel of security when you're carrying it. I do like the fast charging. Like I say, it can charge from virtually flat to full in under 2 hours, and generally it's charged up to full within an hour, depending obviously how flat it is. I like the fact that it's got fast USB sockets. These USB-C sockets are becoming more popular these days, and a lot of phones and things will use USB, and in my case a lot of laptops will use USB-C. There's no shortage of sockets. You've got all these sockets on the front, and you've got all these sockets on the back. So yeah, no, that is brilliant. So conclusions, I think this is a really good piece of kit. If you're only going to buy one power bank this year, then maybe have a think about this one. It's been the most powerful yet, and we're going to carry on using it throughout the summer, and there will be occasions when we're off grid and this will be invaluable. So if you're in the market really for portable power supplies, rather than perhaps upgrading your motorhome with USB, with solar panels and lithium batteries and that sort of thing, you might want to have a look at this. So I hope you found this interesting. If you have, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We've got plenty more product reviews, tours, trips and shows coming up on the channel. So if you subscribe and you hit the notifications icon, you'll get a notification when we do those videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye then.